Hi students, Armando here, and the purpose of this video is to go over the assignment, and then I'm going to be showing you a sample paper in which you will have an opportunity to kind of look at a blueprint, right? A paper that was submitted that received a perfect score. And again, these walkthrough papers that I share with you, by no means can you take any of that content and use it for your own paper. But that is going to be a roadmap for you. See how it was formatted, see how it looks, and then all you need to do is basically follow the model and just insert your own content. And again, I've been doing this for quite a while. Students love the fact they get to see a sample paper. You're not going to get this in every course, but it's something that I go above and beyond for my students to set you up for success. Now, if you don't watch the full video, if you skip parts, usually those are the students that ask me questions during the course of the week. And I say, did you watch the video? Did you watch the full video? Because most of the things that you will ask will be answered inside of this video. So first, let's get started and let's take a look at the actual assignment. Now, I'm not going to go over everything in here, but you are to read this information. And the big thing that stands out is a 500-word minimum analysis. Okay, just so you know, in my courses, whenever there's a word count, as long as you achieve the word count, I'm good. So you can go over any word count. I do not deduct points. Okay, but in this case, it's just 500 words or more. So anything above 500, and you won't have to worry about losing points for not reaching the word minimum. Okay, you're going to follow questions 1 through 4. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, use the resources under the path section, under the study materials, okay, for topic 1. This will help you answer all of these questions here. Now, the second biggest thing you need to realize is right here. You want to use at least 2 scholarly sources to support your analysis. Where do you think you can get those sources? They're right here. They're going to be right here in your study materials. Now, you can go outside of this, but a lot of this stuff is already there for you, so feel free to use that information as well. Now, you're going to be submitting an infographic. I'm going to show you a sample and the written analysis. Now, some students upload 2 different documents. One is just a graphic, and then one is the written analysis. If you want to cut and paste your infographic at the end of your paper, you can do that too. So that way, you only need to upload one submission. Okay, we will follow APA guide, so make sure that you follow APA, and you can find that in the Student Success Center. There's templates and what have you. And then this assignment does have a rubric, so make sure that you always check the rubric. What I tell students is have the rubric open, and that way you will know what needs to be included inside of your paper. And when you read your paper, if there's something that is not included in the rubric, then you know you've missed something. Or if it doesn't really detail it to an extent, then you know maybe you're not at the maximum points of that section of the rubric. Maybe you're at the lower spectrum. So, definitely dive deeper into the paper and make sure that everything in the rubric is covered to the best of your ability. Okay. And then lastly is this paper will require Lopes Write. So you need to submit it as a reminder. Okay. Quotes cannot be any more than 10%. That's the max for quotes. Okay, so you can have quotes. Quotes doesn't mean that you put quotes on something that you read in a book. Okay, quotes are, if you heard me say something physically, it would be, so Terrell said, quote, whatever I said. Whenever you're paraphrasing from a book, you should not be citing quotes. You should just be regurgitating in your own words what they said, and then use a source from where you got the information from. Okay, so not copy and paste, write it in your own words, but then use the source as where you received the information from. So make sure that that's key there. And then make sure that your Lopes Write originality index, you strive for 10% or less. Okay, most students submit anywhere between 0 and maybe 1% because, a couple words were used in another paper. It is very easy for us to see where you obtained the information from, whether it was from another student paper or whether it was exactly copied and pasted from a website or a journal, and that's going to run you into problems. Okay, you can avoid headaches if you just take the information, read it to yourself, and then in your own words, regurgitate that information on your paper, and then give that source the credit. You'll be fine. It's students who use word for word, copy and paste, or maybe change out one word out of 15 that drives up that originality index score, and then you get flagged by Lopes Wright and by the university. So let's avoid that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and transition from what the assignment calls, and I'm going to walk you through a sample infographic and a sample paper. Okay, so let's start with the infographic. Here you can see how the student used the information to basically put servant leaders in the middle, and then what this student believed that their personal traits of servant leadership are and connected with the research basically builds out to servant leadership, right? Serving others, showing empathy, heal people, etc. So you can come up with your own infographic. How you create this is completely up to you. If you're not that techie and you just want to put it on a spreadsheet with, servant leadership, as long as you submit some type of infographic, then you will be good. If you use an existing infographic, I'm okay with that too. Okay, you just have to justify, obviously, your infographic and where you got it from and how that connects to the paper side of this assignment. But I just wanted to show you one example that an infographic will be an image or a table or a chart that you will create, and you will submit that based on the assignment instructions. So this is what an infographic looks like, something to this effect. So again, you have the ability to submit this as part of your paper, meaning you can copy and paste this if it's possible at the end of your paper. That way you only have to upload one file, or you can do it separately like this student did. They uploaded this file separately, and then the second file was the actual written analysis. So let's go ahead now and jump into the written analysis portion of this assignment. Okay, so on the written paper, just a couple of quick things to note that with APA 7th edition that we are now following, you no longer need a running head. So you do not need to submit a running head for your assignments, okay? Now, your title page should look something like this, right? You want to go ahead and have a title. I've removed the student name, so your name would go here. This will be fine. You can keep it just like this, and then you would include the date, okay? I don't need my name on here. If you have these four things, then you'll be fine for the title page, okay? Now, again, just as a reminder, you are not going to be submitting any content that looks like this content, but I want you to do is watch and look at the format of the assignment, okay? Very simple on this first page here, okay? Obviously, we will always start with our title, okay? Obviously, key things, writing 101, we have our indentations, okay? Take a look at how the in-text citations are placed. This is proper here. So after the last word, you include the brackets, right? You put in the citation, you close it with the brackets, and then you have your final period right there, okay? So a lot of students make the mistake of putting the period here and then the brackets. No, it's just the way it is right here. So you would follow that format. You can see that throughout the paper. Okay, perfect in-text citations throughout the paper. Okay, let's keep moving down. So you've got a couple different paragraphs. And again, this is not a large paper in itself. It's 500 words or so forth. But again, you are going to go into there. You can see here how the student makes a connection to the infographic right here. So again, you'll be discussing your infographic in your assignment as well. Okay, you can just see flows very smoothly. The only other thing that you can add, if you wanted to, for example, would be kind of like the headers. But again, for this first assignment, I wouldn't be so concerned about it. And headers are just, it would be bolded here in the center for your first main header, like introduction, and then your subheaders. But for this assignment, let's not overcomplicate it. This would be just fine. And then you've got your reference page. Okay, so notice the format of the reference page. We use the word references. It's on a page by itself. Okay, you don't put this up here where the content ends. It's on a page by itself. It's listed in alphabetical order based on the author's last name. And you can see here that the author's last name starts to the left, and then everything else is indented, okay, 5 to 6 spaces over to the right, and then they all start on the same level once you're in line 2. You can see line 2 and line 3, a line. Line 2 and line 3, a line, and so forth, right? 2, 3, and 4, a line. So this is a perfect, okay, this is a perfect reference page. So if you were going to model a reference page, you would go back to this video and watch this reference page, and this is the way your reference page should look. The only difference is you're going to have your own content right here, right? So for the remainder of the course, if you submit a reference page that looks exactly like this, you will always receive 100% in that section of the rubric that talks about formatting, references, citations, and what have you. So this is a perfect example, okay, of the reference page. And then this is a perfect example of how in-text citations should look. The last word, brackets, the actual citation, close the bracket, and then whatever punctuation mark goes right there. Okay, so hopefully this walkthrough paper gave you some ideas. Maybe it's going to help you with formatting, just to generate some creative thinking in your mind. And again, this is a type of assignment that you will submit for this first assignment. But this model should pretty much be used when it comes to how the in-text citations are used, how the reference page looks for the rest of this course. But again, some assignments will require, a higher word count. And then the only difference will be is that you will have obviously more content to worry about. Okay, so I hope this helps. I know the students love the fact that they get to see a sample paper, a sample title page, especially to kick off the course and give them, a blueprint for success. If you have any questions, whatsoever, then to ask those questions, okay, in the individual forum if it's private, or in the questions to instructor forum if it's a more general based question in which everyone can see and others can respond as well if they choose to do so. Enjoy this assignment. It's simple. It might be one of the easiest assignments to do. So let's start off on the right track. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, definitely let me know. And I'll keep producing these for the remainder of the course. Since the assignments have slightly changed from previous courses, I will be updating these videos with all the new content as well.